Hello, my name is Kennedy and welcome to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video because I am going to be showing my TBR for the 2024 fantasy book bingo that I believe takes place on Reddit. And it's basically a bingo card, this card here, and you can have your choice. You can do a normal bingo or try to fill the whole entire square. There's also hard, hero, and like normal mode that you can do because this is my first time and I don't have a huge TBR to choose from. I'm going to be just doing the normal mode for now. So this challenge takes place from April 1st, 2024 until March 31st of 2025. There are a few rules, one being that there is only one reread allowed, only one book per author, and no repeating books per square. You can also have the choice to switch one prompt out with a prompt from a different year. So with that being started, let's get into my square. I'm going to be reading from top left. I'm just so excited to do this. I haven't had really like prompts, choose my TBR like this, and done a challenge yet, so it's so exciting. It was so fun to pick out all the books, and let me know if you guys are doing this challenge and which books you picked as well. So for our first square, it is the first in a series. I read a lot of series, that's mainly what I read. So this was pretty easy, but also hard to choose from because there were so many options. But I ended up choosing one of my favorite TV series that I'm just so excited to read in book form. And that is none other than A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I'm so excited to read this book. I'm going to get to it this year. So I just can't wait. I got this series and it comes with a big map for Christmas from my mom and a box set, and I love it and I can't wait to read it. The next square, we have an alliterate title, meaning that two words in the title start with the same letter. For this, I have two options, and that is This Dark Descent or A House of Salt and Sorrows. So kind of just gonna feel them out. I'm probably gonna read both books this year, and I might have A House of Salt and Sorrows for another prompt on here. So I guess I'll just say This Dark Descent for now, but it could be either of those two that I'll count for this prompt. The square after that is Under the Surface, meaning any part in this book takes place under the surface, meaning underwater or underground. And I am choosing the 5th season for this. I honestly have no clue what the 5th season is about, but I Googled books that take place underground and this came up. So we're gonna go with that, and I'm really excited to read it. The next square simply says criminals, and I think the hard mode is like a heist or something. And I'm not really doing hard mode, but if it can fit the hard challenge, then that's even better. And I chose Foundry Side, which is about an assassin, and I'm pretty sure a heist too. I'm very excited to read Foundry Side. I don't know why I've waited this long, but it is high on my priority list. The next square is dreams, and that means just any book that involves dreams of any kind. For normal mode, it's magic, non-magical dreams, nightmares, whatever. Now I'm going to choose A Core of Wings in Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I started this book only a few days ago, so well past April 1st, and there's already been dreams in it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm also binging the whole ACOTAR series this month, so this can pretty much count just any of the ACOTAR series books that I read because I'm sure they will all have dreams in them. Next is a book with animals in the title, and I did The Dragon Republic. I'm very excited to continue the Poppy Wars series. I love the cover of this book. Blue is my favorite color, and yeah, I'm really glad that this goes with the prompt because I cannot wait to read it. Next we have bards, which I guess are like characters who tell stories or sing. I do not know of any books that I have that have bards. I might have some, but again, not that I know of. I tried looking it up, couldn't find much, but I did find that Darkwater Daughter has something considered to be a bard. So I was really planning on reading Darkwater Daughter anyway. I do not have it yet, but I'll probably buy it sometime before March of 2025. So we're gonna count Darkwater Daughter for our bard square. After that, we have prologues and epilogues. So just any book with a prologue or epilogue, and pretty scared about this one, but I am going to read it this year. So I just had to put it on here. We're gonna do The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I looked it up, it has a prelude, so there we go. Wish me luck, everyone. But I also can't wait because I'm a sucker for high fantasy, and this is just something that I need to read. The next square is Romantasy, and I chose One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. My cousin gave me this book, and she lost the dust cover or something, so I don't have the dust cover. But yeah, this is One for My Enemy. I read The Alice 6 by Olivia Blake and was just not really a fan. I didn't like her writing style, so we'll see how this goes, but I wanted to give her one more chance, and I was intrigued by this. It is basically described as a Romeo and Juliet fantasy version, so literally a romantasy. I think it's like a witch and something, and it takes place in like New York. I don't really know, but it is a romantasy, and I'm gonna give her one more chance, see how I think about this book. Now we have self-published or indie author, and this one was really hard for me. I was going to do the swap squares with a bingo card from another year, but I needed that for another space, so I tried really hard to look for books, and at the end of the day, I will be choosing Griever's Blood. Now, obviously, this book right here is published by Orbit. However, this series, which is The Combat Codes by Alexander Darwin, was written a bit ago, and he did self-publish. I'm not sure if it was the whole series, but he self-published Combat Codes and Griever's Blood, and it just got picked up, I think, last year by Orbit. So this at one time, for a while, was a self-published book. I was really confused after I read Combat Codes because it said that Griever's Blood was already out, and people reviewed it, and it said that it was published, but I couldn't find the book anywhere, and that was because it was self-published. So this one is a bit iffy on the rule, but we're just gonna go with it. It's as close as I'm going to get. And I love this series. I'm going to do a review and 5 reasons to read the Combat Code series when I'm done with this book. So I hope it gets more traction out there because it's really good if you like sci-fi. If you like The Will of the Many and things like that, read Combat Codes. Next, we have Dark Academia. I do like Dark Academia. I have The Secret History and If We Were Villains back there. I didn't like If We Were Villains, but The Secret History is one of my favorite books of all time. But besides those two, I didn't really have any that I think fell into Dark Academia. I don't know if Priory of the Orange Tree is or not. I do want to read, okay, I forgot what it's called, but it's a series where like the school is trying to kill them and they're going to survive. So that is an option. I have 3 options that I do not currently have on my TBR, but I'm looking to buy. So it's going to be the one where the school is trying to kill them. I forgot what that's called. Ninth House. I've been off and on Ninth House for so long, but I am really curious to read it. Just the mixed reviews make me not that interested. And also The Raven Boys, which my cousin loves. It's been like her favorite series. She's been telling me all about it, trying to get me to read it. There's a whole series like The Raven Cycle, I'm pretty sure it's called, and it sounds really, really interesting. So my main choice, I think, is going to be The Raven Boys, but it could possibly be Ninth House or that other book. We'll see which one, but it will be one of them. Then we have multi-POV. Again, a lot I could have chose from, but I am going to go with Magnolia Parks. I am not a romance reader at all. This is like the only thing romance that's not a fantasy romance I have on my shelves. Never intended to read romance, but I kept hearing interesting things about this and people saying it's like a Gossip Girl type of thing, really dramatic, crazy. So I'm kind of interested. I'm gonna give one book a try and we'll just see how it goes. The next two squares are also books that I do not currently have. One of them being published in 2024, which I could buy at any time in the year. I'm assuming I'm gonna buy something published in this year. I did put one book down, however, and that is The Storm Beneath the World by Michael R. Fletcher. I just heard it described as like an assassin school. The reviews that it does have are amazing. I think that one might have came out already like this month or last month, but it was definitely in 2024. So I'm going to check that one out. It sounds really intriguing, but again, this will just count as any book published in 2024 that I buy and read this year. But if you guys have heard of that, let me know. Then for our next square, we have a character with a disability, and the only one I could think of that I would have on my shelves and I'm certainly going to read is Onyx Storm, which is the third book in the Fourth Wing series. I'm going to read that as soon as it comes out. I think it comes out in January of 2025, so it will fit into this bingo card. And of course, Violet does have a disability, so there we go. But let me know other books with characters with disabilities because I am intrigued. The next square with a book that I do not currently own is published in the 90s, and I'm going to go with Battle Royale. Battle Royale was published in 1999, and it is a Hunger Games, very brutal version of the Hunger Games type of book. I have, if you can see, the manga right here. The manga came after the book, but I love this manga. It is so good. I want to collect all of it, and it'll be cool to have the novel along with the manga for the whole collection of Battle Royale. So I've been needing to read that one, needing to pick that up, and that's definitely going to be read this year. For our next square, we have orcs, trolls, or goblins, so any book featuring any of those characters. And I am going to be choosing The Wicked King by Holly Black, second in the Cruel Prince series. Absolutely love the book, and I'm pretty sure there was a goblin in that story. There's at least one of those creatures in this story, I'm certain. So, The Wicked King, I'm very excited to finish this trilogy. I love this world. Next square is Space Opera. It is yet again another book that I do not have, but I have the rest of the series up here, and that will be Lightbringer, the sixth book in the Red Rising series, and the second to last book. So I'm definitely going to be reading Lightbringer. I cannot wait, and yeah, it's definitely a space opera. For the author of Color Space, I will be choosing The Blood Trials by N.E. Davenport. I love these like African-inspired war stories. We got like Rage of Dragons is kind of like that. I have War Girls back there that is also from a person of color. All three of them are actually, and they're great. I actually liked War Girls better than Rage of Dragons. So if you like this type of stuff, go read War Girls. I'm going to be doing a reread on it as well. But I can't wait to see what The Blood Trials has in store because I heard it is very brutal, which is what I like. For survival, I, again, could have gone with many things. I kind of wanted to go with Gone back there because I'll be doing a reread of that. I read that like 10, 15 years ago, and it was really good. So I will be rereading that, but this book has piqued my interest a lot. I just got it, and it is called The Children of Time. It's basically about human race having to leave Earth and find a new home. They go to a terraformed planet, and there's a bunch of dangers waiting there that they need to survive. This book seems amazing. This is like right up my alley, so can't wait to read it. For judge a book by the cover, it's basically just a cover you think is really pretty or a book that you bought because of the cover. This Dark Descent that I showed earlier was definitely one of those two. The cover really piqued my interest. But for this prompt, I will be choosing Lore. I literally bought this book for the cover. I think it's so pretty, like the Greek mythology theme, the all white, the gold. It's like smooth. I love this cover, and I'm really intrigued by this book. I haven't heard good things about this book. It's like a Greek god battle royale. I just need to read it. It's been a long time since I had this book, so I'm looking forward to that. For our next square, we have Set in a Small Town. And I was looking through all my books. Most of mine are like fantasy or sci-fis set in space and really large worlds. I'm not a big horror or thriller reader, but I did see The Knife of Never Letting Go, and it says on the back, Prentice Town isn't like other towns. Everyone can hear everyone's thoughts in an overwhelming, never-ending stream of noise. But in a town where privacy is impossible, there is a secret so awful that Todd, still a month shy of being a man, must run for his life. But how do you escape when your pursuers can hear your every thought? So that seems like it's set in a small town to me. I am going to count it. I found out about this book. I heard a booktuber talking about it. I really forgot who it was. It was a bit ago, but I added it to my list and found it at the bookstore. And this is really, really intriguing to me. It's also a series. So yeah, I'm excited that I found this and it fits with our small town theme. I do have a horror Boys in the Valley back there that definitely fits in a small town, but I already read that one. So the next square is short stories, and I am not a short story reader. I do not want to read short stories, so that is my square that I will be changing. And I will be changing it to a square from the 2022 bingo card, which is Family Matters. And that is pretty much a book involving brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, moms, dads, just any family relation. And I pretty much chose this one because I wanted to fit this book in this TBR, and that is Jade War by Fonda Lee. I read Jade City, absolutely love it. Obviously, this is about a family and a clan, so it fits perfectly with that prompt, and I just can't wait to finish this series, and I'm going to be doing it this year. So that fits perfectly. The next prompt is Eldritch Creatures, and being honest, I had to Google that. I didn't really know, but it's just any creature, like magical creature, pretty much. It can be anything, something that is like unknown to our natural world. And for that, I am going to go with Dune. I have so many like big books like Dune, The Way of Kings, Game of Thrones in here. It's going to be a crazy ride this year. But yeah, Dune obviously has the worms, and they have a lot of other crazy stuff going on. So I'm sure there's eldritch creatures in Dune. If I somehow read it and find that it doesn't fit, but again, the worms have to be right. I don't know. But I can also go with The Dark Forest, which is the second in the 3 Body Problem series, and where aliens are possibly coming to Earth or some other unnatural being. So that would also count, but I'm pretty sure Dune counts. Next, we have reference materials, which is anything with a map or a glossary, anything like that, footnotes. Most of my books, as I read fantasy and sci-fi, have maps and glossaries. So that was pretty easy to choose from. And I chose The Sword of Kaigen because I will be reading this year. As with all these books, I'm very excited to get to it. It has a map and a glossary, so that just means it's going to be a great book, of course. For the last square on the bingo board, we have we have book club or read along, readathon pick. And I don't exactly have a book for that. I haven't really joined any readathons or book clubs, but there's a lot of book clubs on the app Fable that I like looking at. I could easily join one of those throughout the year or enter a readathon, which I'm probably going to do another readathon because even though this isn't really a readathon, they look really, really fun and I want to join some this year. So that book is to be determined. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. That will be my 2024 Bingo TBR. I'm so excited to get to these reads, and I will probably be reviewing most of them for you guys or on TikTok. So look out for that, and let me know if you guys are participating as well.